5 ways to speed up your US immigration case. US immigration processing times now are ridiculously long for a lot of different types of immigration filings. Before we begin, know that there is not a magic solution, but there are a number of steps that you can take to improve the processing time, to reduce the chance of your case being delayed, and to overall reduce the amount of frustration and stress that you may experience. Step number 1, make sure that you are applying for the right thing. It's heartbreaking when I have a consultation with the client and they want X, they know what they want, but they've submitted the wrong form type or the wrong documentation, and the case is denied or it's been rejected and they have to start all over again at the beginning. There's a lot of strategy that goes into creating a person's immigration plan, keeping in mind what their immigration goal is, as well as other practical considerations that ultimately will make the process easier for you, that will make the process feel less stressful for you, and that may or may not take less time. So make sure that you're applying for the right thing. Step number 2, along the same lines, be flexible, be open-minded. There may be more than one way to obtain your immigration goal. Like I said, there are lots of other life practicalities, life considerations as well, and there may or may not be more than one way to go about achieving your goal. So be open-minded. Don't be married to process X. Know that there may be processes Y and Z as well that would get you there, but ultimately may take less time and or may be more aligned with what your overall life goals are. Step number 3, make sure that you have the required documentation. I can't tell you how many times cases are delayed either the preparation stage or once they're submitted because clients don't have the required documentation. That's something that we let clients know at the very beginning of the case, the documents that they're going to need. The exact set of documentation that you need, of course, depends on a variety of factors, including the case type, where you're from, your US immigration history. But at a minimum, make sure that you have a valid passport. Make sure that you have a copy of your previous immigration filings, if possible, documentation of any stays that you've had in the US previously. If you have a criminal charge, make sure you have that documentation, including the final dispositions. In some cases, you will be required to have civil documentation, which refers to your birth certificate, marriage certificate, divorce decree, things like that. If you do have to have those documents for your filing, make sure that they match the requirements exactly on the reciprocity table that's published by the Department of State. Tip number 4, tell the truth. Do not lie to your immigration lawyer. Do not lie to US immigration officials. Don't omit material information from any of your submissions. That's one of the worst things that you can do to delay your case and possibly even have your case denied when it wouldn't have been if you had told the truth from the very beginning. Finally, tip number 5, be realistic. Go into the process with patience as much as you can. I lack patience sometimes as well, I know, but be realistic. Have a clear, realistic idea to the extent possible of how long this might take. Make sure that you're getting that information from reliable sources. Reliable sources include sometimes the US government, sometimes they will post processing times, but take that with a grain of salt. Know that that information may or may not be what we're actually seeing on the ground. You can get realistic processing time information typically from an experienced immigration attorney who handles that type of case on a regular basis. If you talk to family and friends who have submitted cases like this, also take that with a grain of salt. Know that it may or may not be the exact same type of case that you're submitting, even though it sounds like it. Know that there are a lot of different factors that go into it. So if they submitted their case 5 years ago, that's going to be a very different experience from submitting it now. Cases can go to different processing centers. They can be processed at different consular posts. They're all different factors. So go into it having an open mind, having as much patience as you can, and knowing that you need to be realistic. Finally, and this is related to that, know when to follow up on your case. There are times when you may reach out to us if we're your immigration lawyer and say, hey, can we follow up? And we say, no, it's within processing time, so we're not able to follow up yet. However, once your case does get to a certain point, it absolutely is okay to follow up with USCIS or whichever agency is processing your case. So know when to follow up and when to not follow up. I hope this information has been helpful. My name is Emily Sumner with Sumner Immigration Law. We help companies, employees, families, and individuals navigate the US immigration process, and we would be happy to help you. Again, Emily Sumner at Sumner Immigration Law. Until next time.